Do you remember that girl in elementary school who always volunteered to be the line leader of class? Or that little boy who designated himself the team captain of every recess sport? Or that one student who never failed to raise her hand to answer every question the teacher asked, regardless of if she knew the answer or not? No matter where your memory takes you, we all remember the first time we had the urge to throw ourselves in the ring of leadership. Whether you were like me and ran for your third grade student council representative and lost because your opponent was smarter, cuter, and gave out more fruit snacks than you. Or if you were like Andrew Gillum, who started a 7th grade revolution because he wanted Doritos in his school's vending machine. No matter where you fall in that spectrum, we are all inevitably going to be a participant of some form of organized leadership. From 3rd grade student rep, to the mother in the PTA, to the retired senior citizen in the Homeowners Association, all the way to the Oval Office. This type of organized leadership is a part of every aspect of our lives. And if you were to travel across the country to thousands of colleges and universities, you would find that most, if not all, have a student government association. That's because student government is an outlet where students who have the urge to throw themselves in that ring of fire that we call leadership can. It's the place where that girl who always volunteered to be the line leader of class can go on and be a senator for her university. That little boy who made himself the team captain of every sport can be a representative for his class. And that one student who always raised her hand, and that 7th grader who started a Doritos revolution can go on to be student government presidents, and then on to be scientists, thriving entrepreneurs, an award-winning actor, and just even the President of the United States. So let's play a game. I'm going to list off some names. Some may be well known to you. Some may be individuals you have never heard of before. And some of these people you may have just named your pet after. As I'm listing these names, I want you to think, what is it that all of these people have in common? You ready? Halle Berry, Hillary Clinton, Hugh Jackman, Rosie O'Donnell, Will Ferrell, Alec Baldwin, Andrew Gillum, Justin Schaefer, John D. Rockefeller, Jesse Jackson, Malcolm X, Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, and George H.W. Bush. Now, I know that list was all over the place, and the most obvious answer would just be for you to tell me that all of these people are just extremely successful in their respective fields. However, that is not the answer that I'm looking for. You see, the one unique thing that ties all of these individuals together is that they were all either once class presidents, student government presidents, or heavily involved in their student government association. By now, I'm sure you're wondering, why is it that all of these individuals have this one particular thing in common? How did all of these individuals go from student leaders to where they are now? It's because when student government works in its proper capacity, one can gain all of the skills and traits experts have distinguished as crucial to being a prosperous member in our society. It can set one up for a life of service, leadership, and excellence. So what are these skills and traits? I've categorized them as visionary thinking, humble presence, tenacious courage, high confidence, the ability to delegate, the ability to motivate, a sense of humor, accountability, high emotional intelligence, and most importantly, understanding and embodying the meaning of servant leadership. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to vital traits that one can acquire through leadership endeavors at any level of society. Instilling a level of well-roundedness in our youth will encourage them to pursue these traits. While student government does allow individuals the opportunity to gain so many intangible skills, at the same time, it is also allowing individuals the opportunity to gain some concrete practices that will distinguish themselves from the rest. It is very evident that the more you put into leadership endeavors, the more you get out of it. So it is our responsibility to instill into our children that being a leader is crucial to being a contributing adult in our world. So now, I've told you all of these great things and mentioned all of these grand people that are products of student government, but it wouldn't be fair for me to leave this conversation without us talking about what would happen if student government didn't exist. So let's take a moment to think. If student government didn't exist, as a society, we run the risk of having no place for the line leaders to flourish, no place for the team captains to delegate and for the proactive student to thrive. So what do we have to do? We have to foster a culture of servant leadership amongst tomorrow's next generation of leaders. But how do we do it? How do we create a culture of servant leadership at every level of society? It's simple. We must encourage leadership to our youth. We must be an active example to our young people by investing our time, talent, and treasures at the grassroots levels. With a strong foundation and the presence of a support system, there will be millions of line leaders, millions of team captains, millions of hand raisers and Dorito revolutionaries. And they will go on to be student government presidents. Thank you.